name is Brian Etchison, and I'd like to welcome you to Why Focus on Driver Retention. During our presentation, we will discuss causes of the driver shortage, results of the driver shortage, cost to replace a driver, potential savings with a driver retention program, starting a retention program, retention strategies, and close with a review. What are the causes of the driver shortage? An increase of 330,000 new additional drivers will be needed through the year 2020 as projected by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This increase represents a growth of 20% more truck drivers needed to meet the needs of carriers and freight haulers. As the economy recovers, consumer demand is ever increasing. Increased consumer demand will further stress an already competitive driver hired environment. A carrier's ability to stay fully staffed will be even more challenging as the competition for quality truck drivers accelerates. Maintaining a fleet of drivers has never been more difficult. Industry experts believe there will be a driver shortage of approximately 200,000 this year alone. Some of the challenges are an aging driver population exiting the industry, increasing government regulations, new CSA requirements, new hours of service requirements, and advanced drug testing. Together, these conditions will further diminish the available driver pool. According to the Oxford Press, there are approximately 3.5 million drivers employed annually, with the average age being 51 years old. Some of the typical solutions to capacity have been expand the hiring funnel, spend more advertising dollars, hire more recruiters, contract third-party recruiters, and relax hiring standards. What does it cost to replace a driver? Driver turnover has been a major issue in the truckload industry. Turnover rates in excess of 100% have been common. There are two types of driver turnover. The first type is when a person exits the industry or they quit driving. The most common turnover is when a driver leaves one carrier to go to another carrier. This is called churning. According to a 2003 FMCSA study, churning is responsible for approximately 80% of all turnover. Usually this is a product of unrealized expectations with the carrier. Some studies have attributed approximately 50% of all turnover during the first 90 days due to unrealized expectations. The good news is churning can be reduced with a focused retention strategy. The average cost of driver turnover. According to a study conducted by the Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute, the average cost of turnover per driver was approximately $8,234. So what does driver retention mean to the bottom line? In our calculator here, we have 450 truck drivers hired, not due to growth, with 50 trucks remaining empty. Our average cost of driver turnover is $8,234, consistent with the Upper Great Plains Transportation Institute study, and our total cost of turnover is a little over $4 million. With a modest 20% reduction in turnover, our potential cost of turnover savings is now over $800,000. Just imagine, with this example, if our operating ratio is 96%, then our gross revenue to savings would be $25 saved for every dollar invested into our retention program. Now that we have an idea of how much turnover costs and the significant opportunity for saving money with a retention program, here are some questions to consider. Can you out-hire the current demand for drivers? How much is your current recruiting budget? Could a modest savings in retention pay for your current recruiting budget? What would a 20% reduction in turnover mean in savings? What would a 20% reduction in turnover mean in revenue opportunity? Could you make better hiring decisions with a modest 20% reduction in turnover? What is your current retention goal. What is your strategy to meet that goal? Now let's look at starting a retention program. So how do we get started? First of all, there needs to be an awareness. Understand what turnover means to the organization, such as cost, lost business opportunity, productivity, service, accidents, etc. Next, there must be a decision. Must be a commitment from the top of the organization. Define the vision. The leader must draw a clear vision of the direction of where he wants to be, the ideal culture, and what improving retention can mean to the organization's bottom line. Alignment of people. Because leadership is typically interdependent, it is important that department leaders, decision makers, are aligned in their approach to improving the situation and commit to the defined vision. Team members must internalize the vision, collaborate collectively to meet or exceed the vision. Department leaders need to be aware of what the goals or objectives are by area so they receive the required support when necessary and silos are eliminated. At the end of the day, these leaders determine the potential of the organization. Pass it on. Team leaders must share or pass the vision on to others within the organization. Our personal capacity expands and increases when we are willing to share with others. Seek information. Retention is proactive and requires scheduled engagement. Engagement should be viewed as an opportunity to discover the existing driver roadblocks or stumbling blocks. Assessment. Engagement data is used to measure what the stumbling blocks are and allows for course correction. Growing together. Engagement offers opportunity for a collaborative relationship between driver personnel and corporate leadership. This is accomplished by listening, observing, relating, teaching, developing, empowering, and motivating. All these steps will help set up the organization for a retention strategy. Now let's look at our driver retention strategy. In our retention program, our strategic focus will include selection process. The selection process is the first step in retention. In the selection process, alignment of message and practice are essential. There also must be a consistent interview process using the 80-20 rule with open-ended questions. Following the 80-20 rule demonstrates interest in the applicant and reveals applicant potential as a driver for your company, and lastly uses the questions to connect with qualified applicants. Identifying applicant qualities is very important. Practicing with the acronym SEARCH to identify good candidates should be part of a consistent interview process. Remember, in SEARCH, you are looking for skill, experience, attitude, results, cognitive skills, and habits. Since unrealized expectations are a major cause of turnover, consider realistic job previews. And lastly, if you want to identify ability, behavior, and character, require your applicants to take a customized pre-employment test that is aligned specifically for your company. Onboarding. Preparation determines the success of a driver. Orientation should include relevant instruction, demonstration, exposure, and assessment of the information learned. More importantly, the onboarding process is the first opportunity to assess if the information shared during the qualification process is consistent with the actual practice. Environment. If our goal is to create a relationship or connection with our drivers and provide them with a sense of belonging, then our premise should revolve around actions or results that demonstrate regard for driver self-esteem or importance within the organization. In other words, high-regarded truck companies will be perceived as extended family or a home away from home. This type of mindset must be initiated by leadership and embedded throughout the organization. After all, the professional driver actually spends more of his time influenced by his work-life community versus his actual home life setting. The three focal areas of trucking environment are the truck, terminal, and culture. Recognition. There are two types of recognition, formal and informal. Formal recognition is a way to recognize accomplishments in front of peers or family members. Informal recognition is simply expressing personal gratitude, such as a simple thank you or a great job. Recognition can also be realized in a planned, formal way, such as meeting some type of career path objective. Abraham Maslow identified a hierarchy of needs, with belonging and self-esteem being identified as an ideal objective. Scheduled engagements. Scheduled engagements are action steps to discovery. Proactive engagement is probably one of the most important steps in a solid retention program. Careful engagement allows a company to connect with the driver personnel and make course corrections from information provided. It's the engagement that identifies stumbling blocks of an organization and allows transition into stepping stones. More importantly, engagement demonstrates to the drivers that you care about how they see their work-life environment and want to include them in developing a better company through their eyes. These engagement sessions build relationship, develop loyalty, and commitment to the organization. Assessment. Assessment allows evaluation. We will identify their satisfaction level in areas of focus by asking special targeted questions that measure levels of satisfaction and make recommendations for actionable steps of improvement. It's the engagement and actionable steps that create driver commitment to the organization. Growing together. Grow together and increase capacity with your people. Transfer what you learn to others and be a community. Leaders should constantly be looking to develop personal capacity. Good trucking companies need personal capacity to do more before they can be more. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Be prepared when you do something new, you'll probably leave something behind. I believe you could describe this as progress or gaining a competitive edge. Remember that today's team cannot meet tomorrow's challenges unless it grows together. Respond. Create a course correction. Regularly reevaluate your process and improve. Establish new direction from your driver engagements. Lastly, develop a driver-friendly reputation. Why is driver-friendly reputation last? Because it's the result of focusing your driver retention efforts on a sound selection process, effective onboarding, a friendly work-life environment, scheduled engagements, assessing your results, growing together, and responding with a strategic plan. A driver-friendly reputation is the net result of doing the right things and creating the right environment. Our ultimate goal from a driver retention strategy is the following: add qualified drivers, retain qualified drivers, align development between drivers and management, identify stumbling blocks, develop true driver-carrier relationship, improve productivity, improve driver referrals, and lastly, save money. Now let's do a quick review. We talked about the causes of the driver shortage, results of the driver shortage, the high cost to replace a driver per the UGPTI study of $8,234, potential savings with a driver retention program. Our cost-benefit ratio example was 25 to 1 with a modest 20% reduction in our turnover results. We looked at retention strategies that provide a blueprint, with our ultimate goal yielding favorable results with a driver-friendly reputation. Thank you for attending our presentation. If you'd like more information on setting up a driver retention program, feel free to visit our website at www.capacitydevelopmentsolutions.com or email me, Brian Etchison, at capacitydevelopmentsolutions.com.